injury, so it saves you asking a few questions. It's Amoni is his back seized up the day after the game, and so he's really stiff and hasn't trained all week. Don't know how bad it is, but he's moving around now, but he's unavailable. Lester joined us on Monday when we got here. His calf he's still only on a slow jog, so they're not sure of his ETA, but that's where he's at. The other two injuries, as such. Sam Whitelock is he's available for selection based on where his body's at, but we made a decision to, by not playing him this week, we actually give him an extra week after that, and it just gives us a chance to have a decent block of recovery for that leg. So, but he would be available to play, but we've made a sort of a long-term decision rather than a medical decision on that one.
How hard was that decision, given the size of this game?
Oh, it's never easy, is it? But he's progressed well. He trained pretty well full on last week. Had a little bit of a setback near the end of the week, but he's good as gold. But he's probably still got a little bit to go from where we think he can get to, and so very tempting. But we just made a decision for the bigger picture to give him another, by giving him this week of full training. He then has another week next week, and then he should be ready to.
How tricky was the selection around 10? Was Richie always going to start this game?
Yep. Basically, looked at both teams, both Richie and Damien. Pretty excited with their form at the end of the Super season. Really pleased with Damien. I think we stated why we started Damien last week. Felt as a chance to get him in there. He's been out for a long time, out of our squad, so it's a chance for him to go and play while he's feeling confident. Really enjoyed his game. And this game is really, and it also gave Richie a chance to have a little bit of a breather. They both had big minutes in Super Rugby, amongst the highest out of all our backs. And now it's Richie's turn. So.
Damien not on the bench?
Yeah, look, that's more based on if you look at what Damien did in Super Rugby, he was he was one of the highest backs minutes in Super Rugby, and so we see this as a chance to give him a little bit of a breather. Certainly not based on anything else.
Another long-term decision?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. So.
Dave Booth, Tamaiti, off the bench. You obviously spoke about what you saw from him in Super when he was first selected, but since he's come into this group, what have you liked about him, and what are you looking for him, or from him rather, off the bench this weekend?
Well, I like the fact that the first week he was in, he'd lost his voice, so he couldn't talk. I quite like quiet props, but he's just settled in really, really well. You know, I think we all saw his growth in the last 6 months, and he's continued to train well, contributed well, and we're obviously really keen to get him in. So it's a big test, but a lot of confidence in him.
Those sort of couple of injuries aside that you've talked about, do you feel like this is your best team or close to your best team?
Yeah, we'll find out. I think, like I said, we're still making a few decisions based on, I guess, a bigger picture in terms of making sure we've got everyone in the best possible shape through the rest of the year. But in the meantime, we're delighted with this group.
Given what you saw from both Will and Mark Kalea through Super Rugby, how exciting is this back three for you this week?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think, we've been able to put Mark a little bit on ice, with his knee injury, but he got through a full week of training last week, and so he's ready to go. And Will wasn't with us last week, so he's missed out on a little bit. So, and this week's been a really light week. Our first training on grass is today, so we've eased him in a bit. We've had to do quite a bit of work with him today, but look, he's a quality player, and they've got some really good combinations going at the back. So I'm sure that they're looking forward to it.
Ian, did you give any consideration to picking Will at 15?
Always do.
So, can you just talk to why, I guess, Bowden gets that nod in that position ahead of
Yeah, well, Will wasn't with us last week, and was pleased with Bodie last week, and enjoyed his control. We also, because Will wasn't with us, this is a chance for him to come and get a bit of a groove going on the wing. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at fullback, and so there's a chance for us to play around with how we get our 23 and how we finish games. So that's also part of the picture we're looking at.
Yeah, what do you like what Braden and North bring off the bench?
Well, I thought Braden was again, I thought he come in here in really good form, and he's fast. I think he's been a lot more physical this year in his game, and it's a bit of a challenge for Braden because we're asking him to cover 12 in this particular group, and so he's learning that role. And again, he's trained well, contributing well, and deserves a chance.
You mentioned Amoni is injured, but had he been fit, would you have started this?
Well, I don't have to answer that sort of question, but ask me another day. But look, we were delighted with his game, and for a Test debut, he played well, and excited by that.
Obviously, some questions around whether Evan Smith will play. How big of a loss would he be?
What's that? Sorry.
Obviously, some questions around whether or not Evan Smith will play this weekend. How big of a loss would he be?
Oh, look, he'd be a massive loss, but it's tragic news, isn't it? So I'm sure that they'll deal with it the right way, and we haven't really thought about the impact. I mean, they've got a lot of quality players. We saw that last week, and I'm sure they'll adapt and adjust. But right now, just our thoughts are going out to him really as a person.
In terms of a pre-World Cup mark, this test to provide you with most answers about where this team's at?
Yeah, it'd be nice. I think it's test 2, and we answered a few questions. We went into last week with some clear objectives about people, but also about how we wanted to do things. And this is just another chance to test all that. And so, and quite honestly, there's nothing better than playing South Africa. I think it brings out the best of both teams, and right now it's the next game. We love these games, and yes, we will get a clear marker of where we're at, but. Again, it's just another little step on the ladder.
What do you make of the bench, and what does that tell you about how they might play it?
You mean the 6-2? Yeah, look, that's been their strategy for a number of years, really, and they've got a lot of, they clearly they like adding fresh legs through their pack. It's been done for a number of years, so we're kind of used to that strategy, but. It challenges you.
Have you, as a coach, ever considered with your Blacks a 6-2 split, or is that just not the way you want to play?
Yeah, look, we've considered it, and I think a lot of it depends on your playing group and how that. It's like all strategies are a risk reward, isn't it? And but we think we've got a number of players that we believe are really good 80-minute players, and. So if we overload that area, we might end up making a change for the sake of making a change rather than because we think it's the right thing. So, look, it suits them, and that's great. It probably doesn't suit us at the moment.
Are you expecting them to use the ball or possibly revert to type?
It depends which Auckland weather turns up, Sav. And everything's turned up lately. I expect them to use the ball. I think we've seen that. Saw that last week. We saw that against us last year, and. But they're a quality team. You're not sort of world champions for nothing, and they got the ability to, I think, play a wide game, a fast game. But they've also, they got that Springbok DNA of control and set piece and aerial battle as well. So you got to expect both, and would be foolish to prepare for one.
And speaking of benches, how much of a concern is, I guess, the lack of impact, I guess, you had with your bench last week, and through parts of last year as well. How much of an area is that for you to address?
Yeah, look, we're still striving for that 80-minute performance, and I think I said into last year, and last week was a little bit the same. As we're probably at our weakest when we've got a big lead, and then our bench, and I think we saw a little bit of it last week. We just got a little bit too loose, and just went away a little bit of some of the things that were working for us. So we're talking a lot about that. It's it's a concern. It's not a major concern, but it's something that we're trying to build the group to make sure that our bench is really clear about how they contribute. So I thought there were some players off the bench last week that did contribute really well in many ways. So it's getting that collective response as a team.
Just a hooker. I mean, you've gone from Cody, experience, ahead of, I guess, a bit more dynamic Sangasoni. How close is that call? Is that kind of the balance you probably will go with this year? Or?
Is Cody in the room?
Yeah.
What do you want me to say, Cody? It's a good old battle. Nah, look, it's I think we got 3 great hookers, but I think Cody's in really good form, some of the best I've seen him play, and he's experienced, and we've got a lot of faith in him, and Sonny he's yapping at everyone's heels. We know that, but it's a nice little 1-2 punch.
Speaking, you spoke about DNA and what they do on the field, bench and having more off the field. They've got a different coaching setup. The director of rugby in there, and also their eligibility rules are different. Do you look at that and see maybe that's the way the All Blacks might be heading in one day?
No. Look, I think everyone's got a different way of looking at things, and they've got their model. Their model's probably, I'm not sure if it was I don't know why it happened like that, but it happened, and it's produced a lot of success for them. So it's worthy of, I guess, considering. But it's not something I spend a lot of time thinking about, to be honest.
What have you made of the Springboks since you played them last year? Like, what have you learned from them? How different do you think they're going to be on Saturday night?
It's hard to say. I think, like I said earlier, I think they've got the ability to play a number of ways and to play the control game and to play a wide game. So I think that we can't pigeonhole their game. So there's a sense in some ways you got to look at there's a game of chess going on here too, isn't there? We play each other again in Twickenham and then there might be a potential game later in a World Cup tournament. So how much do you show and how much do you not show? Out in our mindset, it's we're just keeping it nice and simple, really. It's an All Black Springbok test, and these mean a lot to us. And so we're going preparing for both strategies that we know they can play well.
Do they mean the most, these games? Is this the biggest rivalry?
It's way up there, yeah. I think most people would feel that it's called the old foe, isn't it? But I think I think it's special because there's a lot of mutual respect, and and that's on the field, off the field. The guys really relate to them. And we seem to sort of have the same sort of mindset in many ways. So it's a great feature in the calendar.
The last time you played them, and the last time you played them, there was a fair amount of heat on from all directions.
Was he?
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
How different is the team now to back then and the path it's going towards or on?
Well, in this business, things change all the time, don't they? And so we think we've taken some steps. We think we've got a plan in place, not only for the present but also for the next 6 months, where we feel good about it. And I really believe the guys are working really hard. I know we're just at the start of our campaign, and every day we're treasuring because it's a chance for us to spend a bit more time together and get our game sorted. But I think the team's in a great spot, but we just got to go and keep proving that, and that's one of the key lessons from last year, isn't it? We can't knock off, and we know we've still got a lot of growth in us, and we just got to keep striving for that.
And you're talking a wee bit about last year. I think one of the issues
I wasn't. He did that.
that you mentioned was
Yep.
bringing the players out of the Super Rugby mentality how far have you managed to go on that journey? You know, you've only had one test match.
Yeah, look, I think it generally takes you a little while, and I think history tells us that you've sometimes you've got to just create a few new habits. Let's say we do some things differently. We also got to. There's a whole new flow to the week. There's guys not living at home, living in hotels, travelling. There's that whole thing that just takes a little while. We've still got a number of newer players that are adjusting to that, but that's all the exciting part of getting together, really. And so whilst we've had limited time at this time of year to really prepare, I think the groups we've got some great leadership from some senior players who are really guiding it. And I think the group's really gelling well and understanding what it's like. That's why last week was, we're pretty proud of what happened last week. And I know that, we started well and did all that, but it was also preparing to go into a pretty hostile environment and face an opponent that was slightly different. And that's what test matches are about, and that's what we've got to keep adjusting and make sure we do well.
Team, we'll do one more. You what? Or you're done? Happy?
Are we seeing the best, do you think, or starting to, at least in your mind, see the best of Geordie at 12 at an international level? He seems to just keep growing into that role.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think, I think by his own admission, he probably, his super form was a little bit down. But look, he's a quality person. He works hard at his game, and he's got a great attitude of doing what the team needs him to do. So it was great seeing him get some opportunity. Doesn't always happen like that, does it? Sometimes you can be playing well and the opportunities don't come in the same. You put the same amount of effort in. But we're really pleased with that combination last week. Thought it went well, but they've got a different challenge this week, haven't they? And it's going to require a slightly different skill set, and looking forward to seeing it.
Cool. Thanks, team. Get the boys in. Thanks, Fozzie.